So hi guys, this is Amir and I welcome you all to the third and final day of WTF 20, world's biggest 3-day digital conference for artists. As we speak, I'm pleased to announce that we have already crossed more than 5,000 registrations for this conference, and I would like to thank you all for your love. WTF is brought to you by PrintShop by Designhill, which is one of the fastest growing creative print-on-demand marketplace. I would like to thank our associating partners, Illustrators Artists Club, Graphic Designers Club, Pattern Designers Club, Typography Designers Club, Logo Designers Club, and our online learning partners for this conference, Milan Art Institute, Georgia, USA. So moving ahead, let me introduce you our panelists for today. We have with us Joshua Henderson, who is joining us from Utah, USA. While pursuing MFA New York Academy of Art, he has been honored with Carrara, Italy Stone Carving Merit Awards for 2 consecutive years, 2014 and 15. His time carving stone in Italy serves as the cornerstone for his drawings. Also, his work has been exhibited internationally in Italy, France, China, and New York, and can be found in private collections in New York, Connecticut, Canada, and Texas. So go ahead and say hi to audience.
Hi, everyone.
Also with us today is Ellie Milan and Dimitra Milan, who are joining us from Georgia, USA. Ellie is the founding owner of Milan Art Institute, who has sold her work professionally for the last 24 years. Ellie has transformed the life of hundreds of artists from all over the world, helping them find their voice and turn their passion for art into a profession. She's a passionate about role of an artist in contemporary culture and a leading voice of current art renaissance. Ellie.
Hello, everyone.
So we have also with us Dimitra, a young and talented artist who has generated over $1 million of artwork sales just by the age of 15. Her paintings are collected worldwide. She's pioneering a new age of artist influencers on social media, spreading beauty all across the planet. She's also a mentor at Milan Art Institute and passionate about equipping artists to change the world with their art. Dimitra, go ahead.
Hi, everyone.
And finally, we have with us Jacob Dunn as a third panelist for today, joining us from Georgia, USA. Jacob is also a part of Milan Art Institute and works in the capacity of content director. And as an artist himself, we welcome you on board, Jacob.
Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here.
Same here. Thank you so much, guys, for taking our time today and joining us here at WF20. Today's panel discussion is all about how to be a collector's favorite. So before we start, let us look at what PrintShop by Designhill is all about and what WTF is all about. So Joshua, let's start with you. You're ready to go?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do artists always need an agent or they can go out solo?
Yeah, I definitely think that working with an agent, I mean, anytime you're working with anybody, I imagine if you're working together as a team, you're going to get more accomplished. Being a solo artist, I think for me, is like the default mode of working, as I'm just me making my work. So I think both can work, but I think that if anytime you have a chance to work with people, you're going to get more accomplished.
Okay. So Ellie, what's your take on this? Do you sell through an agent, or you've always been solo, or you have taken help of an agent in some part of your career and then you went solo? How has it been for you?
I'm kind of with Josh. I've probably never been solo. I've done it all. I've worked with dealers, agents, consultants, all throughout our career. And then lately, in the last, I'd say 6 years, I've been self-promoting, but I still have a team of people that help me, and I hire out the things that are difficult for me, or I don't have time to do, or I don't want to devote my time to. So I think he's right. It's definitely helpful, and you get a lot more done if you develop a team around you. But I definitely don't think you need an agent per se. It doesn't have to be an agent, or I think the whole idea of the artist waiting to be discovered by somebody who's going to kind of act as their savior and get them out there to be successful is probably, I think artists must take personal responsibility for their business and be completely in control of their brand and not abdicate that to someone else who's going to take care of them.
Okay. And Jacob, what's your take on this?
Yeah, well, I think that as Josh and as Ellie both said, there's definitely a lot of benefits to having an agent. I've never personally worked with an agent, but I think that today you have a lot of tools in I think 20 years ago you definitely probably had to have an agent, but because of modern marketing tools and social media tools, and a lot of art sales are being held online, so you don't necessarily have to have an agent. Like with your guys' PrintShop, an artist can just upload pieces of art. If they create 5 really big hits, then they can just recreate or resell their art that they've made before. So it's not necessary to have an agent, but like Josh said, you definitely collaborating with other people definitely has a lot of benefits, because it's anytime you're in a brainstorm situation, you can come up with things that you never would have thought of on your own, and that goes for like marketing, that goes for promoting and everything in that manner. So.
Okay. So Dimitra, have you ever tried to take help from somebody to reach out to more people, or just taken inspiration from somebody who could help you reach your social account to more and more people and help you sell eventually?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've worked with other platforms and collaborated with other people on social media and working with their audience and like sharing, both our works. And also I think just like getting yourself out there with like online magazines and just having like your story out there, that brought in a lot of followers for me, especially a couple years ago when Instagram was like, the algorithms were different. So now it's like you have to put more work in for that to happen. But yeah.
Okay. So Ellie, let me ask you this question. Let me start this with you. So offline exhibitions or online presence, is one better than another, or they're an optimal balance and they help each other?
Yeah, I think they definitely help each other. All exposure is good. So anytime you can get your artwork seen and get out there. Also, it's important. Associations are important. I think that when you're first starting out and emerging, you probably can't be too terribly picky about those associations. But once you have a brand established, I think you have to be sort of selective. So sometimes in exhibitions, if they're not, at a high enough level, your art could be fantastic, but the other artists that are in that exhibition will basically drag your work down. So I think that, you know, as long as you are well matched and you know, find your fit, where your artwork is sort of elevated by the people around you, then exhibitions are good. I think though the general direction of where everything is going is definitely online, definitely social media, definitely for sure that way, because, you know, when I first started out in my career, it was all like galleries, you know, the sort of old school methods. And of course, art is still selling that way, but the way it's shifting is more online, more, the playing field is becoming less elitist and less art world-ish and more artist direct to the collector. So I think you have to balance, and you just have to be careful about your associations.
Okay. So Joshua, what is your opinion on this? I mean, are you a big fan of offline exhibitions, and you believe that, you know, a lot of times that the online presence, people just admire it and they just look at it and do not really buy it, and the selling part is usually happens in offline exhibitions? Do you believe in that, or you're also you know, too much inclined that the, you know, online presence is helping art to grow and art to sell?
I mean, if I just think about the work that I've sold personally, most of it comes from an online presence. I'm not, yeah, I haven't really, I guess in like a couple openings or something, you know, like I have some sales every now and then, but most of my commissions and other kind of things come from online, as far as like my drawing goes. But like there are other, and the truth is, I don't think one's better than the other, really. I mean, people really still want to have that like personal connection, but they want the convenience of the home of the internet. And I think both. I think it's a combination of both. For me personally, I mean, I want to have the discussion. So like the artwork is on the wall, but that's just to facilitate like a conversation between people, right? So for me personally, I enjoy the conversations face to face, because that's how we interact as animals, you know? And so to me, I'm going to get a richer connection, or like a more valuable connection for me in person than online. But as far as the work goes, I mean, it seems to be pretty effective both ways.
Okay. So Dimitra, let me ask you this. I mean, you're too active on Instagram account and you have a good online presence, but have you ever participated in offline exhibitions, and how has your experience been vis-a-vis the online presence that you have?
So I've done a lot of different gallery shows and exhibitions, and I really, like Josh said, I love like meeting people in person and like really connecting that way through just talking about the paintings. And
Tell them about the bear painting. Tell them the bear painting story quickly. With Park West.
Oh,
yeah, we would love to hear that, please.
I did this for a little bit. My sisters and I did like this traveling art show with this thing called Park West, and it's like these cruises where they do art auctions, and there's like a big room of people, and they sell the work, and they like people bid on it, and it just gets higher and higher. And so the energy is really like amazing there. Like everyone's just so into it, and you get to share your story. And what is the part with the bear painting?
With the collector who had the dream about your painting, and then she told you about the dream, and then
that's
it was like the
story.
dream was
different painting.
Okay, sorry.
Two different stories, but okay. What he was talking about is it was a different show where I did like a girl facing a panther, and this lady saw it, and she was just blown away. Like she saw that it was her dream. She dreamt that just like a few weeks before, and so it touched her so much, and she was just feeling like all of it like meant something to her. And so then like I was realizing, like, you paint stuff, you don't even know like what it's about, but it can connect, like anyone can connect to it, and it can be made specifically for them, and it's just like this magical thing that happens. But also like that happens in person, but even online too. Like I've had so many people just online through Instagram, Facebook, they tell me like I'm painting their dreams, and like what they daydream about, it's like there and they're seeing it. And so that's special too. I feel like just being online and having your art really out there for everyone to see, you can connect with so much more people because thousands of people can see it in a couple hours. And if it's in a gallery, then like only a few hundred people that day who are walking by, like maybe not even a few hundred. Yeah. So it's good to have.
Just to add to what Dimitra said, that's what we believe at PrintShop also, bringing art to life. I mean, an art can speak 1,000 words and it can have 1,000 expressions, more than a person can justify any art. So, Jacob, have you ever felt that, the online presence is taking over the offline exhibitions? And what is the old school thought of banking on the offline exhibitions?
Sorry, what was the last part of that question? The old school.
The old school thought of banking upon the offline exhibitions to really sell the artwork, because a lot of people still believe that the offline exhibitions are where the sales really happens, and you build a network, and the network usually that helps you help with the recurring sales over the period of time. And online presence is just where you maintain your presence, but the actual transactions happen offline in a really high conversion rate than what happens in online.
Yeah, well, I think definitely that online is going to take over the offline sales for sure, because I mean, it's just, if you look at everything, the future of everything has gone to the internet, even grocery shopping, with Instacart, and like you can order groceries on Amazon now. So, I think that there's going to definitely be a platform, sort of like, you guys have done with PrintShop, for artists to sell their art online. And, there's going to be multiple platforms for artists to sell their art online. And these are just going to spring up in the next few years, definitely. And they're going to be they're completely going to revolutionize the art world. And I think on like how art is buying and selling. I actually just got an advertisement on Instagram while I was waiting for this about some sort of investing, or it's called like Master. I can't remember the name of it, but it was about investing in art, and they basically crowdfund investing in really, like Basquiat pieces of art and like Picasso's pieces. And, it's to you can invest in that and then resell it. Like the crowd resells it, or the company does, and they give you a dividend of that. So, I mean, that's just like an example of one way that it's going to be completely transformed to being an online scene. And I think that it's, as with everything, selling art, it's not going to be exclusively, I think that there will be a small niche market of in-person sales and stuff like that, but there will definitely be a lot of galleries going out of business.
Ellie, please go ahead. You wanted to add something on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think what we need to do is just people in the industry, not separate online on, exhibition, keep it all separated, like they have different qualities. Basically, the collector, the buyer wants to connect with the artist, connect with the artwork, and there are ways, as innovation happens online, where we can connect online. And so I think there will be virtual streaming into artist studios. You can't do that in a gallery. You'll be able to be a part of the artist process. You're going to see them paint and interact live. You'll be able to really transcend time and space through the internet, whereas look at auto webinars and look at all the things that are going on. This conference, for example, we wouldn't be able to connect all these people from all over the world like you have if it wasn't for this technology. And art is ready. And interesting enough, because of that elitism that is in the art world, the art actually is probably one of the most least innovative industries that's out there. It's probably the most stodgy, the most old school, and really it's going to be the young people that get it, that understand branding, that are going to take it to a whole new level. And it is about connection. It is about the experience. It's got to be about that authentic experience and connection, but it doesn't have to be two separate things. I think they're going to come together, and then when you do meet the artist face to face in person, then everything will be even richer and fuller. Okay,
so we practically unleashed Ellie, the professor from Milan Art Institute, in this question.
Sorry.
So Joshua, let me ask you this question. So should an artist change himself based on the trends regularly, or stick to his own style or niche and, try to find clients and try to find admirers in his own niche? Where's the fine line?
When I hear this question, like, then I immediately think that it just really depends on like what kind of artist you are, you know, because I'm like not that business level mindset, right? I want to be in my studio, make the work of what I want to make, and that's like and increase the like my vision. I think I would need to sacrifice personally if I can only speak from that perspective, anyways. So if I were to take a more of a business mindset, then I would definitely. It's like upgrading your app on your phone. You know, if you have art that's not being updated with our taste, then it's not being updated. And so I don't think there's a problem with that. But I just think knowing what kind of artist you are and being aware that it's not like, I wouldn't think of it as changing. I don't think you have to like sacrifice yourself and become totally something different to satisfy the trends, you know. And like I don't know, everyone's experience is going to be completely different there, but I imagine that the most successful work would probably be work that that does follow the trends or sets the trends, but also is grounded in well considered, you know, has a story, has education behind it, or at least a well thought out concept behind it that's executed well, whether it's abstract or not. It doesn't matter what kind of work it is. It just that it speaks to the nature of people and like what people feel. And I think that would be, I mean, that's successful art, right? Contemporary art that's new and innovative and that. And I don't think you got to sacrifice yourself to do that also.
Okay. So Ellie, what do you believe in? Do you believe in reinventing over a period of time, or do you believe in pursuing your niche?
I think it's natural for artists to evolve. I think an unevolving artist is unnatural to the creative spirit, to the creative flow. I think the natural course of creativity is to evolve. So I think that your niche, I don't know, I think a niche is not actually a thing. I think that as long as you are authentic and stay true to yourself, and you are putting on the canvas, or you're putting out there the artwork that's in your heart and in your guts, you are going to draw and endear an audience to you that responds to what you're putting out there. And I think that the evolution of an artist is somewhat slow. It's not erratic. It's not fast paced, because we don't change very quickly. We change sort of slowly over time. So I think that the important thing is to not conjure or contrive a change, but allow it to happen naturally through the creative process. So it's authentic, and then you'll have a career that has longevity to it. And you won't be a trendy flash in the pan that's sort of fake and phony. Eventually people sniff that out and don't really want to follow you.
Okay. So Dimitra, how have you evolved over the period of time as an artist? I mean, do you recall your first art that you made, and what you're into today, different form of artworks, or how have you polished your niche altogether since the beginning?
Well, since the beginning, it's definitely changed a lot. And I have definitely not been an artist for nearly as long as like my mom, or I don't know how long Josh has either, but it's, for me, it's been about like 6 years of like being a professional artist. And I just think by spending so much time painting, the more you paint, the more you're going to be refined and like evolving. For me, like, the more I painted, I really like truly found my voice and style, and it just got more and more specific and personal. And I started painting dreams more and really like letting more abstract show. So like as you paint more, I think it just naturally happens and you'll naturally evolve. If you don't push yourself and you just stay like in your comfort zone, then that's when artists like don't change or evolve, and then they probably get more blocks and like, you know, it's not as exciting.
Okay. So, Jacob, I heard Ellie speaking during the workshop session. She said that you and her used to collaborate on artwork initially, but then you have taken different paths in terms of the art form that you guys do. So, I'm sure you would also have to have something to add to that.
Are you? I think you're thinking about her husband, Ellie's husband, John.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry there. So, Jacob, let me take your call on this then.
So for me, actually, I haven't been an artist for nearly as long as any of the other guests. So it's a little bit different for me because I actually I took a 4-month course from Dimitra and her mom, Ellie, at the Milan Art Institute just last August, actually. And I had almost zero experience with visual art. And so I learned, how to, I learned so quickly from them in such a short amount of time because it was a 40 hours a week experience. So, we did 40 hours a week for 4 months. And so it's extremely immersive. And so it's called the Mastery Program, the program that they created. And so I definitely found my voice and my style in a really rapid way. And it happened and probably, it was throughout all 4 months, but in the last month, though, it took about a month for me to develop my style as it is now. And it's evolving. And one of the things that Ellie teaches in the course actually is that, all creative people go through 4 phases of the creative cycle. And, it's like discovery, emulation, and then there's Ellie. The last one.
Crisis.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, I hope, Ellie, let me ask you this. Buying original art is a lifestyle purchase. And given the current scenario we're reeling under, how can you think an artist can, secure his financial interests in times like these? Please share your tips.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, the beauty of today is, very much what your company is involved with, which is sort of print on demand and putting your art in other products. So artists that, basically are only in original artwork, they have to appeal to, a more affluent crowd. The good news is that an affluent crowd typically in hard times or when economies take a dip, typically don't experience the dip as much as people further down the line. So people who have money usually still have money, and it's more about, can the purchase be considered virtuous? So if you can convince an affluent crowd that buying art is something virtuous and not frivolous, then in hard times, it's not that they don't have the money, they just have to be able to justify it, because when things are, when the middle and lower classes, let's say, are really having it rough, they don't want to be seen as just, spending money right and left. So it has to be sort of considered a virtuous purchase. But I think that also making things that are lower priced, that are things that you need, whether it's a shower curtain or a set of towels or a print, to enjoy, or a t-shirt or products that are, when somebody falls in love with something, they're going to spend $20 on a t-shirt because they love the image. They're not going to buy the original art. Of course, you have to choose products that fit your brand, and you can't just, put it on everything like a bumper sticker. But you nowadays, it's great for artists because there's so many options.
Jacob, you have sold your artwork across the world, and you have helped a lot of people, learn from how to sell, and through your online presence in collaboration with Dimitra there. So how do you devise a pricing strategy? This goes to Dimitra, you also. You can both answer this together.
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely something that's useful and pertains to all artists. So I think that one of the main things is a precedent. So, you can't just go out of the gate and start selling your work for, not that you can't, but, most artists, and, I didn't go out of the gate starting selling my work for thousands of dollars. But how we price our work is per square inch. So for example, I price my work around $2.50 per square inch. So that would make like a 10 by 10, 200, or a 10 by 10, $250, and so forth. And Dimitra, because she has a lot more experience and she sold a lot more art than me, she prices her work higher at like, $8 or $9 a square inch. And so, it kind of just depends on what your precedent of sale is. And so the more you sell art, then, the higher you can sell. It's like supply and demand. The more demand you have, the higher prices you can sell. And that goes for commissions as well. If you have like no commissions lined up, then you can start taking, less expensive commissions. And once you have like a waiting list, for example, for your commissions, then you can, start charging more for your commissions because you already have so many people waiting to have a commission from you. So, it's really, an artist is like a business person, I think, at least if you're self-representing, like Josh said, he likes to focus on the art, and, that's awesome too, because, like he said before, he can, really elevate and update his style a lot. But, an artist has the capability to be a business person nowadays, I think. And so with that, there's a lot of things that you can learn from the business world and apply that to the way that you sell your art.
Okay. So Joshua, now we have you back. How do you devise your pricing strategy?
You know what? When I was in grad school, I had my work kind of had some professional eyes on my work from a variety of different sources, and they kind of guided me in I was like basically second year in a graduate program, first time ever in New York, and they kind of helped me establish some kind of a price. So then I cut that price in half and sold quite a few pieces of my work at that price. So I feel like right now I feel basically obligated more to like the previous buyers of my work. I haven't really increased my prices ever. It's just basically like I basically know like a 5x7 drawing that's done in a certain quality and look is roughly a price that I've sold, quite a few drawings around a certain price there. So I kind of set my prices based off of like, I'm kind of just stuck. I'm obligated to not price things too low, like lower than what people have bought previously. So I don't go below a line, but I'm happy that I'm not motivated by money really. So I'm like happy at like the lowest line. Like I would make work for free. I make work for free before I ever knew about selling work. I made work. So like I would still make it for free. And I don't want to be obligated to make it for money and have somebody else's, unless it's a commission, I'm happy. But so my pricing is as low as I can, like morally, do. Yeah.
Okay. So I remember you mentioning that while you create art, you just create for the sake of art. I mean, you don't too much bother about how much it's going to sell for and how much money you're going to make out of it. So how do you strike a balance between being an artist and then marketing your art? Where do you find the common ground?
I know I'm terrible at marketing. I don't balance it out.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Dimitra, let me take your take on this. Since you're good at your online presence, I'm sure you'll have some insights for all of us here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really am in love with the process of painting, and I think like the more that I'm painting, the more I'm like in that flow and river. But I also I personally really enjoy the business aspect of it and just like getting my work out there, trying to get it like more successful and just grow it all. And I've worked with like an agent in the past, but I really I enjoy being my own boss and just trying to grow something myself and build something. So with marketing and promotion, it all starts with the product and having something that's sellable and people connect with. And then my mom was saying with you can brand with different materials and products, and you don't want to print it on just anything. It has to be your brand and style. So I did I created a book with all my artwork, and I combined poetry that I wrote, and I sold it at a reasonable price. And that was, I think, like tools like that, like a book of your art is like a really great way to market yourself. I mean, if you can do that, it's like really nice because people can really connect with your art, and then down the road they might buy something from you. I think it's just like such a broad question. Like there's so much to marketing and promotion, and I think definitely using social media as like to grow yourself on social media is like really important.
Okay. So Ellie, I'm sure you would agree with me on this, that, you know, as an artist, you have to invest in creating a personal brand. So what are your tips in creating a personal brand as an artist, and how to build a strong one?
Yeah, that's a great question. First, your personal brand should be authentic and genuine and really who you are, which means you have to you get involved in self-discovery. You have to really know yourself. You have to know what you're passionate about. You have to understand, you know, what makes you cry, what makes you laugh, what really riles you, where are you most passionate. And that usually stems from your history or your story. And unfortunately, that usually stems from your pain. So I always tell artists to think about the one thing that is, or their most painful experiences in their life, and flip it. And then that will be their superpower. And so their superpower is really what your personal brand is all about. So for me, my biggest pain was feeling that I didn't have worth. And so if I flip that, my superpower is making other people feel that they have worth, they have value, their life has purpose, they have a destiny. And that's what I'm involved with. That's really what I do with my life. So my personal brand is all about discovering your destiny and coming into you know, the authentic self of who you are. And that's how I've built my school. My art is all about that. And it all derived from overcoming my deepest pain. So unfortunately, none of us escape that. We all have that. And we're all in some sort of process of overcoming it. Some of us have completely overcome it. Some of us are still in the process. But that is really the secret as to where your brand is.
Okay. So, all right, before we wrap this panel discussion up, I have a question for you, Dimitra, and I'm sure a lot of people from the audience have this as well. How on the Mother Earth did you manage to generate over $1 million of artwork sales just by the age of 15? I mean, is it prodigy or is it magic? What is it?
Okay, well, that is the retail sales, and at that time I was working with a publisher in Hawaii, and when I was 15, like that's when I signed with them, and I worked with them for 2 years. So during the first year of working with them, all I did was paint, and I just sent them artwork every month, and all I had to focus on was just painting, and they put my artwork out there, and they picked the price point, and then they slowly increased it based on demand. And so by the end of the year, that was like, we made, you know, about $1 million in sales from just, you know, the retail, but I didn't keep all that money for sure.
I just wanted to add to that. I think one of the main ways that she was able to like make art that generated that much money at such a young age was because she was working so hard. And I feel like a lot of people think that like you have to just be born with some talent. And while Dimitra was born with talent, she was an incredibly hard worker. You know, she painted for 60 hours a week, and sometimes more than that when she was, you know, 15 years old. And, you know, that's something that it's kind of an unsung thing. You know, people kind of discredit hard work. And I think that hard work is really the key to success in any industry that you go into. You know, if you want to be a musician, then you have to spend 40 hours a week, you know, working at it. And some people are, you know, lucky and they're born with really amazing talent, but that doesn't mean that people who aren't born with really amazing talent can't become a successful artist.
Yeah, my art became like, I got a lot of skills just by painting so much. And just because like I was online schooled and I didn't actually go to like high school, then I had so much time to dedicate to that. And so that's what I spent my time doing.
Okay, so just to add on that, and for the sake of audience, I also read a book recently called Outliers. So Outliers mentions that it's all about the number of hours you put into your work. So it's called 10,000 hour rule. So the more hours you put into your work at the early stage of life, the better you're going to get at your art. So it's not just about the age, guys. It's about the amount of time and amount of passion you spend on your craft to get better at it. So, guys, this brings us to end of this wonderful discussion with our panelists, Joshua, Ellie, Dimitra, and Jacob. This was indeed a value-packed discussion where we touched upon a lot of topics and answered a lot of questions as well regarding drawing, painting, and visual art. Although there's a lot more we could have discussed, unfortunately, we are limited by time here. I hope you guys loved this session. Once again, I would like to thank our panelists for taking out time to be part of WTF 20. Thank you again, guys. Jacob, please say bye to the audience.
Yeah, thank you all for watching, and thank you for the amazing questions. You know, it was really thought provoking.
Ellie.
Yeah, thank you. It was really great.
Dimitra and Joshua, please go ahead.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for having us.
Hey, thank you so much. Hey, bye, everyone. Thanks for joining, and thank you guys for such an enlightening discussion. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this is not where it ends. We have a lot more for the day. The next session we have is a keynote speech by Ellie Milan on the topic, why now is the best time to be alive as an artist. So if you guys are interested and haven't registered yet, I'm putting the link in the chat section to register now, and we'll see you there. You can also join our WhatsApp group to stay updated with the events like these. I'm dropping the link of our WhatsApp group in the chat section. Please suggest us ideas you want the panel discussions, workshops, and AMAs about. Would love to hear from you. To watch this session and the entire WTF, subscribe to our official YouTube channel, Designhill. You can find the link in chat section also. And for all the artists who are listening to this and haven't registered on PrintShop yet, I'm putting the link in the chat section. PrintShop is all about opening your own exclusive art store where you can reflect your art on more than 50 unique products and get access to millions of customers around the world. On that note, I would like to say bye to everyone who joined us here today. Take care, guys, and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.